Peace. What's happening, good people? This gift here for Payusnomind. And today, we're talking about the opportunity that artists today have to get their music out there at their convenience. And how artists need to really grab the bull by the horns and take advantage of this opportunity that they have. If you're in the building and you tapped in, make sure you comment live so I can see you, so I can shout you out in the next video. All right, y'all? In discussing this, I'm going to talk about, my old man moment, man. I'm having an old man moment thinking about the past and the way that things used to be and the difficulty in the way things used to be and looking at this opportunity that artists have today. Now, part of my wooden floors as I pace back and forth and talk to you guys about this. But check it. When I was doing music, man, you had to create a local buzz because the only way for you to get national and international attention was to get like on radio stations, major radio stations, TV, like BET, MTV, those types of things. Like you needed to find your way there in order to expose your music to the masses. So it's like we started off rapping in the streets and ciphers, because this is hip hop. So we was rapping in the streets and ciphers. And then you went from the local scene with rapping in the streets and the ciphers and battle rapping and rapping at parties and like project days and stuff like that to mixtape DJs. So then you had the mixtape DJs that'll put you on and let you get a verse on one of their mixtapes or something like that. You had public access shows that used to have people come on and freestyle. In the later years, people started doing DVDs and letting people drop freestyles on DVDs. But it was like, that was like the vehicle for you to build a buzz, right? And even in that sense, with the mixtape DJs and the DVDs, because it got to a point where even those things cost you money because people started realizing that they were a vehicle for exposure. So then a lot of the mixtape DJs start charging people $500 for a verse on a mixtape. And the DVD people would charge you $500 to drop a verse on their DVD and things of that nature. And you had to spend the money to get your stuff out there. Otherwise, you would be relegated to obscurity at the local level. Now, with radio and DVDs and mixtapes and all of this other stuff, what's the point of it? Why did we want to get on radio and why did we want to get on the mixtapes and the DVDs? Exposure. That was what we wanted. Exposure to showcase our talent to the world. Now, in showcasing our talent to the world, all we were promised was that our talent would be showcased to the world, that people would hear us or see and hear us. That's it. After that, it became about how people felt about what they saw and heard. So if people liked your music, if people liked your lyrical ability or whatever have you, then you succeeded and you won. And you had people who blew up and got record deals and things of that nature. And if people didn't really fancy you like that, then nothing happened. Right? Nothing happened from there. So it's like we had to spend money for less because what you guys have now is the ability to advertise your music on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Audio Mac, SoundCloud, all these different platforms y'all can go to and run ads to expose your music to thousands of people in a highly targeted fashion and analyze metrics to see exactly what you got for your money and optimize campaigns to make sure that you're reaching the right people and things of that nature. What we were doing was basically throwing darts in the dark. You know what I'm saying? Because we didn't know who the hell was watching those DVDs. We didn't know who was listening to those mixtapes. We didn't know how people responded when they heard those mixtapes. All you were looking for was noise. You was waiting to walk by people on the street and have people talking about you to somebody else, and then you catch wind of that. You catch wind of it from that way. But outside of word of mouth spreading and you kind of like getting wind of that word of mouth, there was nothing. So you could have had one or two fans somewhere in the world, but you had no idea those people existed. All you know is, hey, I spent my $500 on this DVD or this mixtape slot, and no record companies is calling me. Because that's what it was. It was you get a record deal, right? Or a manager or an agent. Somebody got to call you and let you know that that mixtape slot or that DVD slot did something for you. But if that didn't happen, you had no clue and you had no way to connect with the people that your music got exposed to build anything. All you could do is just keep paying to get on the mixtapes and the DVDs and things of that nature and hope that things swung in your direction. Now, again, with y'all and this opportunity with the internet and all of these different ad platforms, the issue that I see a lot of artists facing is that they're judging the ad platforms and the playlists and all of these things by people's response to their music outside of the fact of whether they're getting their music exposed or not. And that's what you're paying for. You're paying for the exposure. So when you advertise on these platforms, what you're looking for is to make sure that your music is getting heard and getting heard by the people you feel like are most likely to respond to it, which is targeting, the audiences that you target your music to. And if you advertise and you find that you don't really get much from it, then that means that that song isn't as good as you thought it was. And that's just being honest. That's just being real. That song isn't as good as you thought it was. Now, that doesn't mean that it's a bad song. Doesn't mean that the listeners hated it. Doesn't mean that they don't care for it. It just means that they didn't love it. They weren't excited about it. They didn't feel like, hey, I got to go search this song out and tell people about it. And that's kind of what you need. You need a song that inspires people, that make people want to tell somebody else, that makes people want to listen to it 101 times until I don't even know what's the version of it starts skipping or whatever in the digital era, right? But people you need a song people are willing to listen to until they get sick of it. And that's what you're kind of searching for, or really, so it's like two pathways with advertising. One pathway is to advertise a song and keep advertising songs until you get a hit, right? Until you strike gold and find that record that people are willing to marry. But the other way is just consistency, where you advertise a song and you find people who like the song and they're cool with you and they rock with your style and the type of music you do, and you just keep delivering stuff to them to where you build a catalog with these people and they have a whole bunch of music from you on playlists and stuff, so they're hearing your music frequently just by the sheer quantity of songs from you that they have on playlists and stuff. And then from there, you can move into doing shows and stuff like that because you got a catalog of songs that people enjoy that they may be willing to come out and see you perform. And you have an hour's worth of music from all of these different songs that you deliver to them that they like, that they're familiar with, that they know, so that's the other pathway. And fortunately, with advertising, you can identify, okay, well, here's the people that like this song, right? The particular songs those people like, the extent that they like those songs. Because you can see, okay, well, here people got it on playlists. Here's how often they stream it. You know, like you can see those things. So it's a tremendous opportunity that artists have at their disposal. So it's like everybody wants to not spend anything really, right? Try to spend the least amount of money as humanly possible when you're out there trying to get your music heard. But the reality is that the free pathway comes with restrictions because you are restricted to what's in front of your face, like what's around you, what you have access to. So it's like for artists who are not spending money to a great effect to advertise and promote, you know, either through playlists or through ads or whatever have you, they are restricted to family, friends, co-workers, associates, people that they have direct access to. And if those people that you have direct access to aren't the type of people who are going to be responsive to your music, then you're dead in the water. So you put up a post on social media and it reaches your cousins and your sister, your brother, you know, extended family, friends, and they all cool with you. So they'll listen to it, or some of them, right? Because sometimes, you know, people will ignore it, right? But some of them will listen to it and they'll be like, yo, that's cool. Yo, man, that's hot. Yo, that's fire emoji, all this other stuff that they'll say, but they don't love it. They're not the fans. So it don't go nowhere. It don't move. It just stays right there, right? You get your 100 likes or whatever from your friends and family and stagnation because they're not moving the music. They're not running around telling other people excitedly where that person can feel their excitement and get excited. None of that's happening. And if you're not advertising, then you're just confined to that. And you'll just keep doing that over and over again like a hamster on a treadmill going nowhere. Unless you advertise or get on playlists or whatever have you to break out of that and reach a different audience, which a lot of times is required because of that fact that that music isn't connecting with the people you have around you. And you see it. So it's like your success where it concerns the people around you comes if you're making music that connects with the people around you. So you got people who make like thugged out music or trap music or whatever have you, and they're around the type of people that are into that culture, you know, and they make a music video and they include people from the neighborhood and they got all of the thugs and the chicks out there from the hood in the music video, and they all feel a part of this and they all support it because it's a part of their culture. So when you're making music that lends itself to the culture of a particular group and you are in that particular group, like in a community where that culture thrives, then you have success. So you have gospel music and the cultural scenes around that and the communities around that. You have the socially conscious scene, which a lot of times be around like protests and rallies and stuff like that, right? These, what they call it, like these panel discussions that they be having where they bring a whole bunch of people to come out and be like, what we really need to do is, as a people, black people in America need to stick together, right? They have those panels. A lot of times they invite people out to perform, you know, or you have just a group of like-minded people in one space. So if somebody's a socially conscious rapper, they could come in that space and share their music, and people are going to be responsive to it, and it can spread because everybody there is on the same wavelength. And the same way you have those communities in real life, you have those communities online. So if somebody is into religious stuff, they have a religious circle and they put something up online and it spreads. Somebody is in a socially conscious space. They are in those groups having those conversations about society and oppression and all this other stuff. They make a song, they share it within that space, it spreads. The challenge that artists face is when they don't fit in none of those boxes, when they don't have those communities, they're not in those conversations about social justice and things of that nature. They're not in those Christian communities or whatever have you. They're not a part of those communities. And they could, even if they have those, even if they make music about those things, because they're not a part of the community, there's nothing to plug it into. So then you have to find those people. And that's where advertising comes in. So you will advertise and find the people that are a part of those communities. And then maybe those people take it back to their communities. And then, you know, it can move from there. But the bottom line is you have to understand that advertising is about exposure. You want to find an audience of people that love your music because you're struggling to find people that love it because the people around you aren't feeling it. And you believe that you have something, you believe you got something that people would love, like you believe in your music, and you just are saying, hey, the people around me, they don't get it. They don't get it. Well, there's somebody out there that gets it, but you got to find them, you know, and you're not going to find them by sitting on your hands, posting to TikTok or Facebook or Instagram or posting YouTube videos for nobody to watch because you're just waiting for people to just magically discover it. Like, nah, me personally, I'm not into being ignored, right? Like, I have to get a no. And that's where advertising gets you. It gets you a firm yes or a firm no, right? So you're not just imagining, oh, if people heard it, oh, if only more people. No, take a little bit of money, put it out, advertise it, and find out how people feel about it. Do they love it? Do they not? Whatever the case may be, you know how to move going forward. Okay, well, this might not be the song. Let me try something else. Okay, well, what are people telling me? Oh, people are commenting and they hate it. Okay, they're saying my audio quality is poor. All right, let me work on that, right? So it's like you get information when you do that and put yourself in a position to be able to build something better or build on some level of success that you've achieved through it. But again, no sitting on your hands. You got to get your stuff out there, and you can't be scared to lose money. And I know, man, we in challenging times, people finding it hard, right? And you got to move as you move. But what you got to realize is when you stepping into this do-it-yourself scene, this is moving as a business. And as a business, it takes capital. You need capital. You need money to be able to move. You need money to even be able to record. You need money for studio time. You need money for beats. You need money for equipment if you're recording your own stuff. You need money for plugins. You need money for just about everything. You want to get your music on Spotify, Apple Music, things of that nature. You got to pay an annual fee. You got to spend, it's just money on top of money on top of money. So if you don't have capital, what you should be doing, right? If you don't have capital, is trying to showcase your talent to people that you think could help you. So for artists out there that's in a position to where they like, yo, I got good music, but I don't have money, right? I don't have a few $100s to be spending on Facebook ads or YouTube ads or whatever per month. My advice to that artist would be that you should be keeping your ears to the street, listening to iHeartRadio, different radio stations, and different states and cities close to you, seeing when they have contests, when they're inviting people on to freestyle or sing or whatever have you, and taking advantage of that. Jumping on those opportunities to get on the radio and get heard, or do some radio station sponsored talent showcase, right? Some of these areas be having their own version of The Voice, like some local version of The Voice or some local version of American Idol, something to that effect. Going to these showcases, these open mics, like every opportunity to get yourself out there is what you should be doing. Even some things that are connected, like they're in the wheelhouse of music, because it's the entertainment industry. And this is something that I did when I was younger too, which was, you got some of these production studios that they be looking for extras for movies and stuff like that. And people who are into movies, a lot of them are into music too. So you go and you sign up to be an extra, and there, you can network with other people in movies and entertainment who might be into music, and find people that way, right? Modeling, a lot of people in modeling are also into music. Those worlds blend together. You got urban modeling, where people need people to model urban wear, and a lot of times those people are tied into music. So that's another pathway into finding people that can help you. So you got conventional ways of going out and doing things directly music related, and then you got the unconventional way of doing things that aren't so much directly related to music, but you got music people who are involved with those things. But that's the way that you should be going if you don't have any money. It should just be you looking for opportunities to showcase your talent, where somebody could pick you up and help you out, And if you don't want to go that way, and you're not the type of person to be like, well, I'm just looking for somebody to come and help me, and you identifying yourself more as a business person, and you're saying, okay, I'm trying to have my own business. I'm trying to have my own label. I'm trying to manage my own career, put my own music out, blow up myself, all of this other stuff. Then you got to realize that you're moving like a business, and the business takes capital. So either A, you spend the money to go and pay for courses to learn how to advertise your music, or you go to YouTube University and you just watch YouTube videos to learn how to advertise your music, and you do it yourself, and you lose some money trying to figure things out. And then once you figure things out, right, then, you develop a system, and you just keep investing to keep growing your audience until you get to a point where, you can make some noise. Or B, you hire an agency that you trust and feel can do the work for you and deliver for you, which isn't always a matter of the fact that you can't do it yourself. Sometimes it's just a matter of, being smart about your usage of resources. So it's like, if you can afford to pay somebody else to do it, and that keeps you in the wheelhouse to where, let's say you got a job, you got to go to work, and then after work, you come home, you want to make your music, you want to do the things that you want to do. You might not want to spend your time learning Facebook ads and managing campaigns and trying to, analyze that stuff. Might not be something that you want to do. So you delegate, right? Like, that's what smart business people do. They delegate. They find other people that are good at certain things and say, hey, this person has dedicated their life to this. This person runs a business doing this. Let me hire them to do what they do, and I do what I do, right? So you got that. Hire an agency, learn it yourself, or go out there and find somebody that can help you. But the bottom line is, you guys have a tremendous opportunity with being able to take $10 or $20 and get something exposed to 2,000 or 3,000 people. Like, you can do that anytime you feel like it. Right now, you could take $10 or $20 and get any song that you threw up exposed to 2,000 or 3,000 people. Like, we would kill for that back in the days, man. That's all we used to do. We used to stand around and we used to be like, yo, man, if people heard this, If people heard that, anybody that thought you was hot, that's the first thing that they would say, yo, man, if more people heard you, and you guys got that opportunity, it's not just a conversation of, oh, if. It's not an if. It's not an if. Y'all have the ability to make that a reality. There's no if 1,000 people heard you. You could just get heard by 1,000 people. And if you got something, then it really turns into something. And if you don't really have anything, then you learn that. And either you get better or you fold, right? You say, hey, this ain't for me, man. Everybody's saying I stink. Maybe this ain't the pathway for me, right? But you got the opportunity, and y'all need to take advantage of the opportunity and stop looking for like instant home runs and saying that it's the platform's fault that you're not succeeding, because it's not. All the platform does is expose the music. And then after that, it's about how people feel about the music. So it's like organically, you can have an argument as to whether a platform works or not, right? Like you can say, okay, well, Facebook ain't working for me. They have their algorithm, they filter in it, they ain't showing my stuff, they shadow ban me, whatever it is you want to say. You can make that argument when it comes to organic content. But you can't make that argument when it comes to advertising. Advertising, you are paying to reach people. As long as you can verify that your ad actually reached people, people saw it, people heard it, then it's just about how they felt about it. It's just about how they felt about it. So you can't say YouTube ads don't work, Instagram ads don't work, TikTok ads don't work. All of it works. It's just you can literally blindfold yourself and pick one. As long as the music is heard, it works. What doesn't work is songs that don't work. So it's just, you just keep trying different songs until you find the right song. But any of these platforms can work. Now, they all have different systems and structures and results and ways to follow up and stuff like that, where you could look at them and say, okay, well, this one might be better than the other one for me, or for building up, a certain kind of thing, which is like why we do the reviews and stuff like that, man. And y'all could go to payusnomind.info for reviews on some of these ad platforms. But outside of just like the different ways that they have in the mode of operation, they all do the same thing, and that is expose your music. And if that's what you want to do, then you need to just really take advantage of these things, man, and get your stuff out there, man, and find out what you got. Now, as always, y'all can agree to disagree or agree, whatever the case may be. This is Gift signing off. Pay us no mind. Peace, good people. One.